woken up. So again, it's I have my bad times of sleeping and all that, and my toe doesn't have it good. I think it's broken. Anyway, everything is going downhill in this world, and so anyway, so let's have a look. So this is one of the articles here in regards of Walter Martin, the CRE, Christian Research Institution, and again, as I understand it, one of the things that he actually released in the beginning was against the Roman Catholic Church, and yet later on, sources says that no, he never made this, and well, I have confirmed that he did, and we have the material is available on the internet in these days by what was called Wesley. No, was it I can't remember what he's called. But anyway, the material is out there on YouTube to get, and you can even also get it in text. So I don't remember where I have it, but I think I have it downloaded on the mobile, because you never know when it's actually removed from the internet. But I should really get more storage so I could actually have all these important things at hand. But anyway, so they also talk about in regards of this Gary Met apparently. And they said Jack Chick's lies, the real Alberto Rivera exposed. Yeah, well, a lot of conflicts, that's for sure. Here we go. Jack Chick says, the most godly man I ever met. And again, the article I read on Catholic.org or something like that, or Catholic.com or something like that, that seems to be an authentic Catholic website and all that, where this Catholic have, in some sense, well, not a total interview, but he's talking with this guy, Jack Chick, so. And just by that interview, by just reading that interview, just confirms a lot in regards of Jack Chick, not the other way around. Yeah, so it's like, even if they try to, it's actually, helping Jack Chick, I think, more than their case in regards of trying to slander him as, they confirm a lot of the things that is, so anyway, so let's see. Alberto Rivera, the alleged former Catholic priest, bishop, and anti-Catholic hero of Jack Chick. And they love to use the anti-Catholic word, or Catholic basher, or bigotry, or bigot, or whatever. Anyway, the same thing with the guy that I'm talking to, the Catholic guy I'm talking to. This is the same thing, exactly same thing, where they, I was like, what was it? There was something in regards to that. Everything, everything that you just talk about in regards to the Roman Catholic Church and all that, and the institution, in regards to the papers that I'm talking to, it's like everything is just, it's just fraud, it's just false, it's just propaganda, it's just whatever. Oh my, it's just incredible. Everything is just being, rejected. Oh yeah, in regards to the story of the Roman Catholic, everything is just rejected. It's just incredible, because there's endless of material of this insane institution, in regards of what she have done throughout throughout history, and yet this is the ignorance, I guess, that people will go into. And in regards of the, defending the cookie Jesus as well, false cookie Jesus, and the Mariolatry and all that. Oh, well, my. It's idolatry. Anyway, Alberto Rivera, the alleged former Catholic priest, bishop, and anti-Catholic hero of Jack Chick comic strips, was exposed as a total fraud by non-Catholic evangelical Protestant Gary Metz. And that's the thing, that Gary Metz apparently is used a lot to attack Alberto. Yeah, there seems to be some fishy going on in regards of Gary Metz. Anyway, in 2 articles appearing in evangelical magazines. Yeah, because, the Romans couldn't have put some, guy out there, but, again, a wolf in sheep clothing and to attack Alberto if it was for real, right? So, again, it's just, yeah. Of course they could, because they have done it, for hundreds of years. Read the Jesuit oath. Read your Jesuit oath. Don't, just read what it says, that they have, well, in some sense that word was actually good. They have Catholic agents out there, being Protestants and, whatever, yet they are working for the Antichrist. It's just very easy to find that. The problem is if I'm opening something new, maybe I can't find this. Let's fix this down here. Whoopsie. And then let's open another window again. So to the people that have problems actually, see, do we have Google? There we go. Should actually, there we go. Oh, anyway. So she Jesuit oath, and of course a lot of people don't even know that the Jesuits is existing. The soldiers of Satan, the most wicked group. There we go. And Eric Phelps is, in regards, if I remember correctly, this he have found it multiple times, being verified in history. So here we go. Superior, this is the in regards of my son, heretofore you have been taught to act the dissembler. Actually, it would be interesting to see what the word dissembler actually means. Let's see, dissembler, let's see what it says. Of course, this is an older, so it might actually be better with an older. But anyway, a person who professes belief and opinions that he or she does not hold in order to conceal his or her feelings or motives. That fits the dissembler. That fits pretty much what the the oath. Dissimulator, hypocrite, phony, pretender, beguiler, cheater, deceiver, slicker, trickster. Yeah, it sounds pretty much like the Jesuits. Oh well, but anyway. So to act the dissembler among Roman Catholics, to be a Roman Catholic, and to be a spy even among your own brethren, to believe no man, to trust no man, among the Reformers, to be a Reformer, among the Huguenots, to be a Huguenot, among the Calvinists, to be a Calvinist, among other Protestants generally, and so it's like other Protestants, so they are accepting that these other groups are Protestants, anyway. And what is a Protestant? He's someone that protests the Antichrist and the whore of Revelation, mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother whore of Rome. Anyway, and the Roman Emperor in regards of the Antichrist, which is called the Pope by many. Anyway, among the Calvinists, to be a Calvinist, among other Protestants, generally to be a Protestant, and obtaining their confidence to seek even. So again, generally to be a Protestant, and obtaining their confidence. So, yeah, to seek even to preach from their pulpits, and to denounce with all the vehemence in your nature our so-called holy religion and the Pope, Anyway, and even to descend so low as to become a Jew among Jews, that you might be enabled to gather together all information for the benefit of your order as a faithful soldier of the Pope, the great smelly Pope in Rome. Anyway, and then it goes on in regards of how they work and this and that, and but if you the Catholics will say, oh, it's just fake, it's just whatever. Yeah, like the Knights of Malta oath and the Columbus oath, and just the rest of those wicked satanic oaths, right? Yeah, it's just anyway, if you actually compare the Jesuit oath with some of these Knights of, I don't have it up at the moment, but anyway. But you can go look into that as well. So this Gary met in two articles appearing in Evangelical magazine in regards to these two places. This is some of the sources they use to attack Alberto. And then it goes on, this article, I've heard that the Christian Research Institute, CIA, founded by the late Dr. Walter Martin, widely regarded as the foremost evangelic counter-cult specialist. The problem, of course, is if Walter Martin was actually working for the other side in regards of Roman Catholicism. Anyway, again, we can see in the oath that we are to expect, that there are wolves out there. And again, it's very interesting to see that, that when people or sources are saying that, oh, he never actually wrote this thing and it doesn't this and that. And then looking more deeply into it, you find out, no. Someone was clearly lying, because it does exist. And I do have reference to it in, in an older book from the in regards of the Book of the Cults. A much earlier edition than but anyway, not removed like in the new editions in regards to referring to it. So it did exist, or it does exist, and but again, we see that they are, they're trying to delete or censor anti-Catholic, as they would call it, anti-Catholic material. But apparently it seems to be okay to be anti-Protestant, apparently. That seems to be, way okay, right? Going into a Protestant bookstore and finding, anti-Catholic material, what to do, And then what does Catholic.com or orcs tell this, this person? Well, go in and, tell this guy that this is actually, these are, it's so deceptive. It's so disgusting. It's just so, I guess anti-Protestant. If they want to use these words, right, in regards of anti-Catholic, well, let's use it. It's very anti-Protestant, because a Protestant, of course, a Protestant bookstore would, of course, have Protestant material in regards of protesting and, pointing to the so-called Pope as the Antichrist. As the whole, just give me a break, Just kidding. This is insane. It's utterly insane with these Roman Catholics. It's a filthy, 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 filthy system. There's no way to go around it. It's just filthy. The more you look into it, it's bubbling, all the evil, disgusting, stinking, smelly things are just, bubbling, forward when you do research about these things. It's just incredible. And people actually are defending this system. It's just incredible. It's just insane. So Dr. Walter Martin, widely regarded as the foremost evangelical counter-cult specialist, has also done an expose of Rivera. I do wonder that it would, of course, be interesting to read if he has actually done, what he, if maybe I can find some issues there, maybe. Let's see here. Let's see if we can. Let's see. Paste. No. Albert. No. Walter Martin. Expose of Alberto Rivera. I guess the other guy that actually made the other things available, but he deleted me from Facebook, sadly. But maybe I can get him on email. I've done that before, but maybe he knows about what it is. My first encounter after publishing Alberto came from the Bible answer man Walter Martin. I was stunned until Alberto told me he had a list of Christians on the Vatican Save list. And this is from Chick Publications. They are those that actually still publicize his cartoons. Also, I've read a source that or heard a source, by the way, that Alberto talked about that Walter Martin might have been an agent of, or actually was an agent of Rome, as understood. That's one of the radio clips where they have like 1 hour of going through things and this and that. I can't remember where it is, but anyways, it's just not long, yeah, but anyway, see here. How could the Vatican pull this off through traitors, deceivers, and those who swallow the Vatican lies? My first encounter after publishing Alberto came from the Bible answer man, Walter Martin. I was stunned until Alberto told me he had a list of Christians on the Vatican safe list, though sympathetic to Catholicism. And when you look into Walter Martin, you find these, hints in regards of something seems strange. Anyway, and actively protecting her. And that probably should be capital in regards of her. The Roman Catholics believe that Mary is the protector of the church or something like that. That she is the mother of the church. There's different words on it. Anyway, and Martin was on the top of the list. Later, I found that Martin had gone through Catholic schools. Oh, really? Well, then I could understand why he opposed us. Oh, yeah. That could be interesting to actually look up as well. If Walter Martin actually had gone through Catholic schools. That might be, that would, of course, be another, thing that would be, that would be a hint in that direction. But then Christianity Today dealt us a devastating blow, an article so-called exposing Alberto as a fraud. My goodness, why? ? This publication was founded by the great Billy Graham. Again, Billy Graham have issues as well. That's the guy that removed the whole chapter, bought up the right to the Haley's book, and removed the whole chapter from the book in regards of church history. And some also talks about him actually being a Freemason. But in any case, wouldn't be a surprise. But anyway, whom I loved and supported. Oh my, what a surprise when I learned that his first big campaign in Los Angeles, that also we also have in regards of Billy Graham, in regards of his, what was he called it something? Was it a crusade? Nah. I can't remember what they called it, but called it something when he went around and all that, and talking about that if you had been a Roman Catholic, well, he sent you in the direction of the Roman Catholic, to go back to, it's just incredible. Anyway, that made him famous in Los Angeles. That made him famous was backed up by the Roman Catholic William Randolph Hearst. Then I learned that Graham had very powerful friends in high places. One including the Pope or the Pope. If anyone speaks loving in regards of the Antichrist, that's a problem. That's a big bet. That's a big no-no. If you have a so-called shepherd out there speaking love songs to the Antichrist, something is terrible wrong. And you should know that because you should read and study the Bible and the Protestant history and find out who this guy is. And thereby you will be able to go around again, one might be deceived and all that. I think about a person that might have been a priest or whatever in this position in 20 or 30 or 40 years, and yet can't even talk about who the Antichrist is according to the Bible. Oh my. Anyway, just be careful out there. Read and study the book of Daniel, the book of Revelation. There's a reason why Rome does not want you to read the Bible, and if you read it, then, having that leaven in it, so they totally miss what it actually says. Anyway, many on Billy Graham's staff are Masons, and Graham even received an honorary degree from the Catholic College. Then I understood Christianity Today's attack on Alberto Rivera's comic books. Okay, that seems actually to make somewhat of making sense, actually. Years later, I received word from the contact who had Interpol, CIA, and FBI connections. They checked out the article in Christianity Today and discovered that not one of the charges made against Alberto Rivera could hold up. So again, if I don't, in regards to CIA, that's usually for Catholics in action and all that. But in any case, if this is true, it's slander, right? That would be considered slander, and what is it called? Defaming the name of Alberto. What is it called? Taking his name through the mud. I still have some. I have a lot of things to learn and all that. But that seems to be slander. Then, if these now, of course, we know that Rome. They have this doctrine as well in regards of the means what's it called? The means justify the end. No, the end justify the means, or is it I can't remember. The means justify the end. Yeah, I think it's something like that. You can look that up on Google, of course, in regards of, the end justify, and of course you can just go to a priest to get absolution, right? It's a Catholic priest, of course. So go out and kill some Christians, and then go back to a Roman Catholic, and then just get absolution, and then everything is okay. The end justify the means. That's an idiom. Okay, so something like that. Morally wrong actions are sometimes necessary to achieve morally right outcomes. Yeah, that's pretty much one of the doctrines of the Roman Catholic, just in the Jesuits and so forward. If it's, for the goodness of the Roman Catholic Church, no problem. You can just get absolution, Look at the mafia. Going out and doing all these wicked things and just going to a priest and getting absolution from, a Catholic priest, most wicked way. This is not the way of Jesus, Jesus didn't say, go out and kill a lot of people and then go back to a Roman Catholic priest and just get absolution because you did it for the church. It's insane. It's totally demonic and insane. Come on, people, wake up. That's just totally outrageous. Oh yeah, by the way, I actually heard that quote in regards of power corrupts and absolute power absolutely corrupts and something like that. As I heard that actually was in regards of the Antichrist, the Pope, that this was actually in regards of, absolute power. That would be in regards to the Antichrist, the Roman Emperor. And as I read that this was actually, talking about the Pope or, the unholy figure. Of course, that would make sense, in regards of absolute power absolutely corrupts. Just interesting. Now, I haven't gone deeper to verify it, but it wouldn't be a surprise. You use the Bible also as a guide to point you in the right direction, because again, there's so many lies and so many deceptions and so forward. But when you have the Bible, that helps a lot in regards of discerning, in regards of who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth. But, there's still a lot of very deceptive things going on in the world, absolutely. So, you have to, one have to be very careful again. And this, I guess that's the thing I do here in regards of trying to figure things out. But the damage was done. Okay, so against Alberto Rivera could hold up, but the damage was done. And again, I must say, it's just, I'm kind of, it's hard to really, I'm wavering somewhat here and there and all that, but in regards of Alberto, I really think he was, on one level, I really think he was actually real, and that he was a brother in Christ, and yet then I have to be careful because we know that there's deceivers out there again. I really have, I really have some of my issues with this. Some things seems to be a lot easier to discern than others, and again, I might just need to grow more and know more. You become better to discern things as time goes. That's because you get more and more things. You study more and more things and find out more and more things and find out what is true and what is not. And thereby you become better and better to discern. But anyway, They checked out the article in Christianity Today and discovered that not one of the charges made against Alberto Rivera could hold up. So that wouldn't, of course, be a surprise if that wouldn't. One of the, it was a radio show that I heard. They were also talking about this. That that's this Alberto calling in and talking to Gary Metz and that Gary Metz, he never proved, in regards of those, yeah. So anyway, he's saying that he has the documentation, yet he never released it to the public. So, and that's kind of interesting, right? Because if you had the proof, you would provide it. And then they talk also about that, one of these places where, they called up the state, where they, you should easily get that, and where Gary should have gotten it, and they didn't have anything. They didn't. So that seems fishy again. But anyway, but the damage was done. The Christian community jumped on the bandwagon. Both Catholics and charismatic Christians pounded most of the Christian bookstores into submission, and that we have pretty much verification on both sides. So both sides are agreeing that on some, might be different levels, but they are agreeing that these bookstores, stopped, having these magazines and let's just say, whoa. Just needed to sneeze, as you can hear. So Chris just went through my nose. Anyway, Christians pounded most of the Christian bookstores into submission. Now, of course, I would, in regards to the charismatic movement, I would be careful about those. There's a lot of, just again, a lot of Christians just fall for the thing that, if it's anything spiritual, it must be from God. That is not so. I was in the occult. Satan can do tricks as well. Okay, so it's like, when I came out from Satan's candy store and saw what was going on in regards of many professed Christians. And there was no discernment. It's just, it's spiritual. Oh, then this must be from God. Oh, no. Anyway, Satan is out there and his demons is out there. So anyway, both Catholics and charismatic Christians pounded most of the Christian bookstores into submission, including the Christian Booksellers Association. And why? Question mark. Because they are bound hand and foot to Rome. Yeah, well, that wouldn't. Yeah, it just sounds legit. Reading this sounds pretty legit. It seems like it's, it seems to be honestly telling what is, from their perspective. And so let's see here if we can actually use the surrendering power to another. Yeah, surrendering, I guess. Submissive, yeah, okay. And again, it wouldn't be a surprise to also, we know they do this because we can see visible sources talking about this. So we know that these Roman Catholics are doing this. So again, the information, let's see here, actually. Maybe I can find it. I found, but it seems to actually have been edited because I found another one that actually had 3 anti-Catholic Protestant sources. And of course, I put it on my Facebook because one of them is from Dave Hunt, who, a woman writes The Beast. Found anti-Catholic material, the horror in a Catholic, in a Protestant bookstore. What would you just think about how stupid this is. You're going into a Protestant bookstore and you're not expecting to, and there you see, anti-Catholic material, and what are you expecting, if you go into a Protestant bookstore? Here we go. It's catholic.com. I think it's like an official site. It seems the Catholic guy I'm talking to used this to get verification for what he needs to believe and all that. Instead of just reading the Bible and was it Jimmy Akin that actually talked to Jack Chick? I don't know. Maybe it was Jimmy Akin that actually had the fall of this thing. Why are Protestants so anti-Catholic? Hey, maybe because they read the Bible. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe because they understand the Bible without any leaven. Okay, here we go. So Jimmy Akin, I actually think that was the guy that actually had an interview that I found. Let's see here. He had an interview with Jimmy Akin. I see, and Akin interview with Jack Chick. He was at this where Jack Chick has made this movie, and he didn't know how he looked or something like that, but he found him and then he had a talk with him and so forward, and just actually verify if that was the guy. I might be wrong. It was this guy with the was like red beard or something like that. Catholic.com that was the site or something like that. I'm not sure, but it was on that site, but I can't remember if I wrote it right correctly. Meet Jack Chick. But it's also on, here we go, Meet Jack Chick. So you can see both websites seems to actually come together. That's the second time we see coming together of these two. So Jimmy Jakin is he shows himself off as a cowboy guy with I think it's red beer and so forward like that. And here it talks about Meet Jack Chick Catholic Answers. And he goes into, he talks, excuse me, sir, are you Jack Chick? I am, he replied, smiling warmly. What's your name? Jimmy Akin. So this is the guy, yeah. So, but this is interesting because Jimmy Akin has one article about a Roman Catholic asking him in regards of finding anti-Catholic material in a Protestant, bookstore, and what to do about it. And both Catholic.com and Jimmy Akin has, or Jakin or whatever, has this answer. But the funny thing is that there's more information on Jimmy Akin, so it seems like someone must have edited something in it. And I would guess the one with more material would probably be the original. But here you see in regards to finally, if possible, one should give the manager something to read about anti-Catholic material he is carrying. As to say, this rock article on Dave Hunt's A Woman Rides the Beast. That should be kidding me, If you want to really look at, in regards of, go on YouTube and write A Woman Rides the Beast by Dave Hunt. And he has a documentary. He's also released a book. I haven't read the book, but the documentary is pretty good. And you can see for yourself where the Pope invites every religion, well, I guess except the real Christians, but anyway, to Rome in regards to worshiping the saints. Actually, I have another thing. It's so clear, people. Be careful of the whore. She is drunken by the blood of the saints, Let's see here. And by the way, this is bad quality on my Facebook, and you can thank you can thank Facebook for that. That, in regards of some browsers that apparently are trying to make it, that's the thing. I thought it was the browser's fault. When you run into things and all that, in regards of YouTube or Google or Facebook, you're like, oh, it must be the browser that, that's an issue with and all. No, it is these insanity big institutions making issues for the browsers. So, but it doesn't work on this browser. Oh, well, just use Chrome, right? Use this Google browser and all that, right? Because then you won't have these issues that we are making for you. Yeah, Anyway, so Facebook is, found out that, the quality of these things on Facebook is very, very, very bad. And I found out if I ran another browser or whatever, or their own program and so forth, the quality was so much better. And I found out that the same thing on Google. If I go on Google with this browser, the quality of the images is just so bad. YouTube I've seen making issues as well for this browser, and I was complaining to those making the browser. I thought that, that would be, I wouldn't have thought that these big companies would begin to do these things. Of course, they've been doing it a long time. They're more and more control. They want more control, and they want less control for the people. They want they want to get your information, and so they can sell it and push advertising on you and network status. It's funny, right? It's really funny that it goes on to. Here we have JFK Secret Society speech, and again, it's really funny that it's having difficulties because I'm not using all my bandwidth. Now, of course, a usual person wouldn't know that I'm not using the whole bandwidth, because he wouldn't have a program up to the right where he can actually see that I'm actually not using all my bandwidth. I'm actually using, there's more room for. So again, this excuse is just not true. So let's try to move around whatever, but I think there might be something going on as usual. There's a lot of weird things can happen with technology, and you never know what they actually do in the background. Listening to some of these big companies from insiders and what they actually are doing in there. Now, of course, one thing is to see it outside and then have this, where you can, there's something weird is going on, but you can't really be totally sure. But then when you have insiders having worked for these companies and coming out talking about what they are actually doing in there. Of course, we also saw the banning of multiple people, including myself, on YouTube because, hate speech, apparently. YouTube didn't like or don't like truth and all that. And of course, all the videos I'm posting here probably might actually just go down the drain. But I'm learning something about it at the same time, so I'm doing research at the same time, so it's not really a loss for me in some sense. Because then I'm enjoying myself at the same time, making a video and going around with the research and studying it in some sense and just getting. So anyway. So here we, by the way, have the JFK Secret Society speech. Also very interesting. Some believe that he was actually killed because of this. Because, there was some problems in regards of not bowing down to, even if he was a Catholic, he, went against this system, it seems. And, So when you listen to him, it just sounds like, the more you know about this Roman Catholic insane institution and what they are doing in the background and all that, the more the speech of Kennedy actually makes sense. By the way, here we have blocked this. I've seen Facebook actually remove this this link from the page. This is a program, an application that I use that was also banned from Google Store. Actually, it would be interesting again to actually look at banned applications from Google Store. I guess if one search on DuckDuckGo or whatever, that probably would be instead of Google. Then and again, my the images here is not that good. Because because of Facebook. You can thank Facebook for that, not my browser, but Facebook. Very bad quality. I've checked the images as well in regards of, and it's just the first image that usually when it's loading and all that, and they're not allowed to load the better quality image. So let's see here. That's something in regards of DNA test and all that, but the thing is that, here we go. Here we go. here we go in regards of a video, and I'll put some writing here. Now, of course, not many will see it anyway because, it's not popular just to talk about in these days. But that we have the chat, but there's no one on. Probably YouTube doesn't really get, it's kind of, when I actually began to have, people, in regards of my YouTube channel and all that, and that's where YouTube actually bans me. So seems to have been not really a big problem for YouTube while I didn't have that, and then people began to, but anyway, whatever. It wasn't that many in any case, but still, that was more seeing my things. Anyway. So this is the video Pope Francis, sorry about that, Pope Francis, prayer intentions in January 2016. And there you can see, I believe in love, and I believe in love, and we all worship God, blah, 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 blah. Ecumenical bullshit, the broad road that leads to destruction and all that. And here's what I wrote. Hey, Antichrist 666. It's called the broad road to destruction. Satan's big candy store with many flavors. Pick and choose what is right in your own eyes. And we are not all children of God. This is some of the things that he says in the video. Heard of being born again, the second birth, becoming children of God, being led by the Spirit of truth. Of course, he's following the spirit of error, but anyway. Have some love and tell people they will be lost without Jesus Christ. And no, not your false dry round pagan solar cookie. No compromise with Satan. Absolutely. No compromise with Satan. Why would we ever compromise with Satan? Absolutely not. That old snake can keep things for himself, I want nothing to do with him. That's for sure. Yeah. Anyway. And this is still the thing, again, this is a very small thing that I wrote on Facebook because you can't have any more letters and all that. And I should actually also change my name as well because it's not biblical there's not the biblical way. And again, in Denmark, it became, I actually wrote about it down here. It actually became illegal. Let's see here. There we go. Biblical, my birth name should have been Anders Holgersson. That would be Anders, son of Holger, because that's my father's name. So Satan made it illegal at some point in Denmark to follow this biblical principle. If you read the Bible, it's always, son of this, son of that, and so forward. At some point, I need to find out more information on this. And again, it seems like the reformers, for example, one of the Danish songbooks from the 16th century, there's two persons I found that actually has, the past name in, and also an Ø, which is in Danish, son, and there are two of them actually have it in this way. So I'm not sure if that was also before the Reformation or if they found out by reading the scriptures that actually this is the way they do it in the Bible. So I'm going to do it as well but anyway, at some point it was made illegal, and I haven't found out, of course, I can just look on the tree and find out when people actually began stopping doing, having their father's name and so forward. But, it's now legal to change your last name, but a lot of women seem to actually take their name instead of the man's name. And of course, that is in regards of these satanic, rebellious, whoring, murderous, man-hating feminist times of confusion and insanity, are giving their mother's name, which is just totally flipping things upside down, like Satan has a way of being good at. If we're not going to read the Bible and stand for what is, and discern what is good and what is bad and so forward, we just lose more and more, and we are losing more and more, I remember this saying, which where they said that from each generation that it became worse and worse and worse, and people was like saying, it's just something, there's just something people believe that, well, it is getting worse, it's just but people wanted to put away that, that's just because whatever, but it is going really, really downhill, and it can go the other direction if we are going to pull some rope from Satan. So anyway, so this Jimmy Akin, so let's see, finding anti-Catholic materials in a bookstore. Question, I went into a Protestant bookstore. So he went into a Protestant bookstore. Did you get that? He went into a Protestant bookstore. Okay? Did we get it? Yeah, we get it. Okay. Recently, and found a bunch of anti-Catholic material on the shelves. What should I do? Yeah, well, I have maybe you shouldn't walk into a Protestant bookstore. Did you see the letters and read Protestant on the, yes. So they go into the best way to handle situations in which one finds it in a bookstore. You did the right thing. It should definitely be pointed out, as some bookstores are not really aware of it or do not have a strong commitment to carrying it. And pointing it out can get it taking off the shelves. Yeah, let's say a way they just censor everything, and the best thing to do is approach the cashier and then ask to see the manager or assistant manager. If the manager is not there, this will be the person who makes the decisions. Maybe it was actually Jimmy Akin that then write on Catholic what's it called? Catholic Catholic.com or something like that. Yeah, Catholic.com. Maybe he's just one of the writers that, and maybe he actually was the original writer. So that would also confirm that the bigger these tree materials would probably have been the original. Now, of course, he could maybe have updated it on his own page. I don't know. In any case, it is longer on this page. In talking to the manager, one should stress three things. First, one should point out that of the orthodoxy of the Catholic Church. Well, yes, never ever been Christian, but well, yeah, let's just talk about. Well, let's talk about the Roman, mystery religion turning to what is called putting new clothing on herself to deceive the elect, or to deceive the saints. Well, or try to do it at least, or kill them off, and proclaim herself Christian, when she have always been there from the very beginning, nearly at the beginning of the inception of the Roman Empire, in regards to the Pontifex Maximus. You can find that on Wikipedia. Now, of course, you shouldn't trust everything and all that, but Wikipedia here, wikipedia.com, and maybe I should actually write wikipedia.com, no, wiki, and say Pontifex Maximus is, by the way, the high priest of paganism. Constantine was the Pontifex Maximus, the high pagan priest of sun worship, in regards of the sun, paganism. Anyway, Latin greatest priest and blah blah blah. I think that was at least 2 pages on Wikipedia on this. Let's see if we can find the information verifying what I'm saying. Now, of course, if something is wrong, then you can get the fault for Wikipedia. It would be nice to actually confirm the information from other lexicons and all that. Let's see here. King. Here we have ranking of the highest Roman priest, but that was not the thing I was looking for. Nope. College Pontiff. It's probably. And the Pontifex comes from the Latin for bridge builder. This is a title you can still see that being used. One of, now he's dead now, but he was, he's saying, maybe we're not Protestants anymore. Now we are all Catholics again, and so forward. And he talks about the bridge built and all that. And if you know anything in regards of the title of the Antichrist, is a bridge builder as well. I guess bridge building through the different religions of the world, as he sets himself as the head of all spiritual powers in the world and all temporal powers as well, political and civil powers and all that. I'm not sure if I can find it. It's much easier on the computer than sitting on a mobile finding it's also a lot easier to write things and all that. So but it should be on Wikipedia that it talks about that. Maybe I have it on my Facebook, by the way. But the thing is, they talk about the second king giving the instructions to the Pontifex Maximus. So the Pontifex Maximus was already at the inception of the Roman nations when it was a kingdom. So it was already at the very beginning. So, and the whole rides on all 7 heads, and 5 have been at the time of John. So she was already there, in the past, before Jesus became flesh into the world and was revealed to his people and so forward. So anyway, she was never ever Christian. So that's as far as I can see from the Bible. Each head being a government type of the Roman nation, or whatever you want to be called. Different stages of Rome. So let's see here. So first, one should point out the orthodoxy of the Catholic Church, citing examples of things that the manager will recognize as foundations of orthodoxy. And by the way, of course, they're allowed to be deceptive, they're allowed to lie, they're allowed, it's just incredible, they're allowed to not tell actually what they actually believe, Just tell what actually what you believe is okay, that they will accept. Don't tell them about Mary and, and the cookie Jesus and whatever, Don't tell them about that. Just tell them what they can it's just so deceptive. Just wolves in sheep clothing. Just total wolf in sheep clothing, because they can't even tell you what they really believe. And you have to show them that you actually do know these filthy things, and then dig into it. And that's not only with Roman Catholicism, that seems to be with every single false religion out there. So Satan is in the work, he doesn't want you to know all the, and of course, in some sense, it doesn't really matter, because when you know the truth, it doesn't matter with the lies, Besides, of course, being maybe easier to poke holes in these when you know what the Mohammedans believe, what the Roman Catholics believe. Well, you are also, in regards to you're harder to get deceived, in regards to the Roman Catholics, it's very easy to get deceived and actually think that they're Christians, because they won't tell you everything and they will be deceptive. I met a guy in Jerusalem, and I should have, and I think he deceived me. I think he did it on purpose, and pretty much was a Roman Catholic all the time, even if that seemed to not be the case. And thinking about it, going back and thinking something and that, and getting the, I fell for it in some sense, I don't know why he did it. I think it was I guess it was teaching in some sense, to find out that one should be very careful. And I really, loved this guy, I was really, it's like, not in that sense, but, he really seemed like a really, Christian guy that really, and then finding out he probably just deceived me, and that's just so sad. It's just so sad. And he might have just been playing a game, who knows? That's just, rather have someone just tell you things, instead of this deceptive, what's it called? what's it called, like a women glove or something like that. There's just anyway. But I have multiple things where I'm thinking, he responded like a so-called, where, yeah, it's just, yeah. Anyway, this is just, and then finding out later on, then he got, I began to see, I had him on Facebook, and began to see that there came some material that seemed, some, in the direction of Roman Catholicism and all that. And then he just got full-blown, Roman Catholic on his Facebook. And I asked him, when did you become a Catholic? And I never got an answer from him. But apparently he was a Roman Catholic. I never got an answer when he was a Roman Catholic. So, and anyway. First, one should point out the orthodoxy of the Catholic Church, citing examples of things that the manager will recognize as foundation of orthodoxy, as to say the Trinity, the fact that we are saved by grace and do not earn our place in heaven, that we must all repent of our sins and have a personal relationship with Christ. What about telling them about the cookie Jesus or Mary? And all the in regards of the so-called saints and all that. That's actually, I have another interesting article on that in regards to the Roman Catholics. When the immigrants, I actually have a word for that. Actually, I wrote it down. Let's see here. When the foreign invaders or the immigration or the immigration of the Roman Catholics, and there's anti-Catholic material on that as well, and because people didn't want these Roman Catholics to get into the U.S. Some people was against this, and of course, why wouldn't they be against it? They were fleeing this system in the first place, but of course times work for Satan and people tend to forget and so forward. Anyway, so, and why would the Roman Catholics flee to the US when there was many other Roman Catholic, you have the whole of South America. It wasn't good enough for the Roman Catholics to go to a Roman Catholic nation. They just had to go to a Protestant place, where the Protestant actually had fled from all these insanities. Oh, well, anyway. So, as to say the Trinity, the fact that we're saved, but anyway, it actually talks about what the Roman Catholics believed and what they kept to, and how the U.S., that there were coming these Roman Catholic whole houses up, different places, and of course you would have, been against that. It's just they had been fleeing these things, and now the Roman Catholic is just coming and putting up one whole house after another in regards of idols and statues and the cookie Jesus and all that. But anyway, it actually talks about that, that they thought they got help from the saints and from God, and in regards of and it's like, yeah, you got maybe help from the demons in regards of the so-called saints and all that, because demons have many disguises they come at, and anyway, they're praying to these different saints or praying to so-called Mary and all that. No, we are not to pray to these. We are to pray to Jesus and Jesus only. Oh my. When Satan couldn't deceive the Christians, he had to figure out another way to deceive. All this truth that came into the world by Jesus Christ, you don't think Satan had to figure out something else? And being the master deceiver, very quickly sowing the bad, the bad poisonous darnel, the lawless seeds. Anyway, as to say the Trinity, the fact we're saved by grace and do not earn our... Actually, I think it was actually Alberto talking about that as well. So looking at history and finding out things for myself, and then listening to Alberto, he talking about the same thing. So, again, being in agreement, it just verifies, just give more weight to Alberto again, because a lot of people don't know these things. There's some of these things I've been using a huge amount of time researching, and then you go to Alberto and he's actually saying the same thing. He's just a fraud. Really? Just how would you know these things? Anyway. And that's his talk about, he's probably have more, but one of the talks that he talks about this, I think it is in regards of, he's talking about Constantine as well, not being a Christian, and he's talking about that these things were sown actually before. Yeah, it was just anyway. I can't remember all the details, but he's pretty much just in the direction that I've of the research that I've done myself. So again, who is speaking the truth? Yeah. It's just again. It's just. But what are you going to do when you have people saying this and that, and he's a fraud and that, but verifying again and again and again and again and again that he's actually telling the truth. Yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Right? Just one after another. That was just another pointer, by the way. But thinking about how could a fraud know about this? It really, and how this fraud has apparently studied a lot, because he knew a lot of things. I wouldn't think it would be a typical fraud where they just invent things out of the hat and all that. You have some of these television preachers and all that just seems to flip up a rabbit out of the hat, and just totally mess up scripture and all that. But Alberto is not doing that, and we have problems again with but as you can see, the connection, there should be much more than enough room for the connection. But I'll try to walk around here and see if I think there might be another problem. If it's not something from the outside doing something, it might just be the mobile not being able to follow along. And I really don't know, because again, I can see that there should be enough room in regards to the network. So I'll try to walk around a little here. Again, I don't really think it will work. Let's see here. Maybe I should just try to pause it like 5 seconds, 2 seconds. Funny enough, it's still complaining even if I paused the, Something just seems fishy with this. This network status is poor. And you can see on the mobile it has full signal. So, and I know when you test the upload that it has a lot more upload than that what it's using. So, so something is not right here. I could of course try to go to the 4G, but I'll probably okay. So now I'm on 4G, which apparently doesn't have that good of a connection, but that's it's still wrong, So I don't know what is going on in regards of it. I have no idea. But this is one of these crazy daisy things that goes on sometimes. And I even have this issue on 4G as well sometimes. And I know it's not, the 4G is like, bandwidth, that is, it's really hard to use the total bandwidth of 4G because it's so high. Anyway, So first one should point out the orthodoxy of the Catholic Church, citing examples of things that the manager will recognize as foundations of orthodoxy, as to say the Trinity, the fact that we are saved by grace and do not earn our place in heaven, that we must all repent of our sins. Would that be considered also in regards to worshiping the devil? And have a personal relationship with Christ and all that. Yeah, well, so yeah, so don't tell them about Mary and praying to the different dead saints, so-called dead saints and all that. Yeah, don't tell them about that, right? Yeah, just incredible. Anyway. Why would you? Yeah, just give me a break. Anyway, second, one should point out errors in the anti-Catholic material. For even if the manager doesn't mind carrying anti-Catholic material, he may mind carrying erroneous material. Third, one should point out the hatefulness. Oh, the hatefulness. That was another word here. Let's copy that. An unchristian nature. Oh, it's unchristian to tell people the truth. Of the mindset which motivated the work production. Yeah, so it's so unloving to tell the truth to the people and warn people about the whole. Yeah, that's just so. Let's see if we can just point that over to a note. Paste, there we go. Third, one should point out the hatefulness and unchristian nature of the mindset which motivated the work's production. Finally, if possible, one should give the manager something to read about the anti-Catholic material he is carrying, as to say this rock article on Dave Hunt's A Woman Rides the Beast. Again, when people say, you're not allowed to use Roman Catholic sources or this and that, and all you're using Roman Catholic sources, and they're like, don't fall for that deception. But because, of course, you can learn from reading Roman Catholic things in regards of what they in regards of what they have of problems, for example, in regards to anti-Catholic material. Like Dave Hunt's A Woman Rides the Beast seems to be an issue. Jim McCarthy's Catholicism, Crisis of Faith. That's actually the thing that is removed or is not found on the other side, Catholic.com. And All Christianity's Today piece of on Alberto Rivera. So Jim McCarthy's Catholicism, Crisis of Faith. I do wonder, okay, yeah, so this is one material that is in regards of, he was a former Roman Catholic. He's interviewing a priest. I don't know if he's probably a Jesuit priest, but I don't know. But that's interesting as well. And there you can see some of the, and apparently the priest, we have a letter from the priest said he didn't know that this was, he thought it was ecumenical and so forward. And he's flipping things around, this and that and all that. But anyway, in regards of Christianity today, that's probably in regards of Gary Metz, in regards of Alberto Rivera. So you see the Roman Catholics are using... Gary Metz and saying, oh, he's a Protestant and all that. Yeah, and well, again, wolves in sheep clothing. We know there are wolves in sheep clothing. Just do your research in regards of. So these are three pieces that, and I saw a documentary about anti-Catholicism in the U.S., and what books they, the Protestant had and what they had written about the Catholics and all that. And I think I learned, and I got some great sources to look into in regards of children books and all that, So of course I can learn something from, just have to be careful and then always try to discern things. So, but if they're pointing out things and they were showing these anti-Catholic cartoons and all that, and just making fun of it and all that, and not really taking it, oh, it's just anti-Catholic and Catholic bashing and blah blah blah. No, 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 no. There's a lot of truth to these things that the Protestants are writing against this insane institution. But anyway, it's like listening to, for example, one of the professors, I think it was a professor, and he was keeping what is it called? It was on the World War II and I'm not sure if it was totally on Christianity, but he gets into I think it might just have been on the World War II, and I think he's an unbeliever or something like that. But he's having this lecture or whatever on this subject, and then he goes into the Bekennenden Brethren, what is it called in German? Bekennender bread, yeah, I can't remember. But he's standing there like making a little fun out of it, but he is like giving it 5 or 10 minutes and all that. Bekennender. And the thing is, he's saying that, oh yeah, but there was some of the Protestants, like, Kirche, okay, Bekennender Kirche. And there was some of the Protestants that was like, hey, wait a minute, in regards of the Second World War, wait a minute, wasn't the Pope the Antichrist? And one of the reasons why that is interesting, why would some of these Protestants connect this Nazi church with the Antichrist? Why would they connect Rome in regards of the German Reich, in regards of getting into this, and so, but he's standing there like, it doesn't really, they believed there was, making, they don't, people might say this and that, but they don't believe it and just say it like it's, the Protestants was, pretty radical, saying that the so-called the Pope was the Antichrist and all that, and it's like saying it like because they're non-believers and don't believe, so just saying it like it's how stupid they were. It's just anyway. So Bekennender Kirche was a German Protestant group that realized, hey, wait a minute. Wasn't the Pope the Antichrist? In regards of apparently getting into this state church or whatever, I can't remember all the details, but you can look that up for yourself. Again, so much, but they made a document as well in regards to the Bekennender Kirche against these things and what they stood for and so forward. And I haven't read it. I think I don't remember reading it. I think I have printed it out, but I haven't read it yet. The Confessing Church, German Bekennenden Kirche. I think I have it written out. So but anyway, you can look into that if that's of interest. But again, you get the puzzle pieces here and there and so forward. But again, why would they think in regards of why would they connect Rome or the Antichrist with, the so-called Pope, in regards of what was happening in Germany? Well, maybe because Hitler was a good Roman Catholic and he was in good standing with this insane asylum until his illegible death. Now, when I say illegible death, is that some believe that he actually survived and went to Argentina with, like, many of the other Nazi soldiers. And if you want to have verifications that, there's a lot of documentation actually on it, using the Vatican rat lines. Anyway, and of course we have the concordance with Germany in 1933, which you can also verify, the concordant. And that way you can actually follow this guy that is in this image as well, and he becomes what is it called? He gets this title from after the war. He gets this title, and I think he goes to Rome and gets this title from the Antichrist. I can't remember the details about it. I was still doing research, and sometimes I lose all my tabs and all that. Following the leads and so forward. But anyway, all roads leads to Rome, people. Do your study and don't be deceived, That's pretty much what I can. And Alberto was pointing to that, and he was, in regards to the Nazi thing, when I read about the Nazi things and all that, at that point, a lot of things that he said was just going over my head. Yet, when you begin to dig into it and things are getting, bubbling forward, and you get into these older historical books that have been hidden away and all that, things begins to, verify what he is saying. And that is, of course, a problem if you want to discredit him, right? And, for example, the Roman Catholic, the papist, the Romanist that I'm talking to, or a child of the devil, hopefully he will, get out of the system and all that. That's of course, my hope. But he's attacking Alberto on so many levels, and in regards of sending me this material that he was a fraud and this and that. But the guy himself have not really gone into what Alberto actually was saying. That's just, it just seems, yeah. He had read one of his magazines. That's all. Of course, it's better than nothing, of course. But I don't know why he would have a problem with that cartoon. He didn't really give me any, and maybe I should actually ask him why he thinks that it was bad. Because, as far as I can see, it's telling the truth about the doctrine of Mary. Well, actually, I think I have a lot of verification on that, so I don't see what he thought was bad in that cartoon. Following a Roman Catholic that learns about this Mary thing and all that and questions it in his school period, and becomes a priest and ends up getting out of this system and writes a book and is murdered, Of course, one could dig further into the material of reading his book. So, I don't like the front of the page in regards of the picture of Peter Square, because in the middle of St. Peter Square there is a gigantic Egyptian phallus, and if we want to be very clear, there's an erect penis standing in the front yard of the Antichrist. But as the Roman Catholics, and I at least have 2 Roman Catholics telling me this, that's the 2 I can remember just on the fly. It's like names, sometimes sometimes a person's name, but you can't remember what the name is. It's like, when you get a lot of information, when you fill the cup up, you have a lot of things that just not always are available. But anyway, so at least 2 Catholics that I've talked to had that, well, there's a cross on top of it. Yay, they put a cross on top of the penis. They put a cross on top of the gigantic Egyptian erect penis. So it's Christianized, apparently. It's just insane. It's just, okay. You just need, apparently, if it's wicked and evil and pagan, you just take a cross, you put a cross on it, and everything is now okay. I have to be kidding me. It's just, it's disgusting. Utterly disgusting. And we know all the sun worship and all that and so forward. It's just, anyway, all roads leads to Rome, people. Find out why why we have these sayings. All roads leads to Rome. Lies in Latin, proud as a so-called pope is another one. And I think bullshit might actually also come from that, but I haven't really found the leads to that. But I would, a bulla, like in regards to the papal bull, and of course that would be, I could really see that the Protestant would have invented that in regard, the Luther burned the papal bull, well. it excommunicated him and Andreas. I haven't actually. I guess the papal bull must be available someplace in regards to the excommunication of Luther and Andreas Karlstadt. It would be interesting to read it. So anyway. So this is just Jimmy Akin's page. Well, this is also material you can look into. Dave Son, The Woman Rides the Beast, and Jim MacArthur's Catholicism, Crisis of Faith. That's also a video. And in regards of Alberto, some have made his cartoons available on YouTube as well, more like a movie or whatever. Yeah. But usually it's the cartoons. So we got through that, and you can do your own research. Why are Protestants so anti-Catholic? Well, again, maybe because they read the Bible and understand what it is actually saying. Sorry to tell you, but until Rome retracts Trent and admits we had it right, we are by definition protesting Rome. In regards to the Council of Trent, there's a lot of curses or anathemas in against people not believing as they do. So you are cursed. You are a heretic. There's the Rivera Zacharias that actually is the editor of the cult book from Walter Martin in our days, and that's the guy that actually gives the response to this guy that asks, why is there actually not a chapter of Roman Catholicism in the book of the cult? And Rivera Zacharias, his answer, if you analyze, is very interesting, I think. But anyway. Why I became a Catholic? Well, because you wanted to be a son of the devil, I guess, or became deceived by this wicked system. I just didn't. Anyway, let's see here. The end justify the means. And of course you have the Freemason as well. And again, going back to Rome, but auto op chaos. Was that actually Latin? I think it actually is Latin. Auto op chaos. And you have the letters on the back of the $1 bill, which is also Latin. Let's see, auto op chaos. I think it's Latin. Chaos. And you see this from Freemason in regards of order out of chaos. Order of chaos is Latin. Why would that be Latin? Well, maybe because the Roman Empire is still in its work. Order of chaos, the little horn of the book of Daniel. Anyway, you have the $1 bill as well. $1 bill. See if we can find it. In regards to the New World Order, see if we can find it here. Images. And we of course have the pyramid and all that. Why would you have a pyramid and the eye of Satan on it? There we go. Let's see. I actually had I had a bill at the. Anyway, here we go. Annuit septus novus ordo seclorum. Again, Latin. Why would there be Latin on the, these were Protestants fleeing this system, and why would you have the eye of, the Freemasons call it the great architect. Well, they worship Lucifer, so, it's the devil. It's Satan. Freemasonry is Satanism. And you have a lot of symbols and all that here, and you have, if I remember correctly, there's a dove up here someplace hidden. Anyway, a lot of symbol